On this episode of ResiWeek, we cover CES 2021 and 2020 and Just Add Power adds Dante. All this and more on this episode of ResiWeek.
The network for the AV industry.
What are you listening to?
This
is AV.
This
is AVNation.
This is AVNation.
This is ResiWeek, episode 259, Bleep and Bleep.
Support for AVNation is brought to you by
Blackwire Designs, the go-to distributor for the CI industry with an extensive product lineup backed by unmatched sales and system support. Anytime dealers need it, even after hours or on the weekend.
Welcome to this episode of ResiWeek. This is your weekly roundup of all the latest news and stories for the residential AV industry. I'm your host, Matthew Scott for AVNation.tv. This is our first recorded live show of 2021. And don't laugh, Heather. It is what it is. And I'm very excited because we have kind of like my brother and my sister of the biz in on this show. It's going to be fun. First of all, we have Heather Sidorowicz. She is the president of Southtown AV and a very happy Bills fan today. How you doing,
Yes,
Heather?
she is. I think that we should take the whole podcast and discuss about how great my team is.
I have loved watching Alan mature really quickly. It has been a blast.
Amazing. I mean, so 25 years we've waited for this. Poor guy has the whole weight of the entire city on his shoulders.
He seems to handle it pretty well, though.
He does. He's been great in prime time. Very exciting.
They're doing really
Go
well.
Bills.
They're having a lot of fun. And as a minor side note, what they did for Lamar Jackson's, if you missed the game, and we'll get into tech in a sec, but if you missed the game, he got knocked out, I think, in the third quarter.
He did. He got a concussion, so he was taken off the field. It wasn't a crazy hit. It wasn't,
No, it wasn't bad.
Mean players.
It was just an unfortunate, fall backward situation. But as of this morning, Monday morning, the Bills Mafia, if you will, has already raised something like $300,000+ for his charity that he runs, which is I don't think I've ever seen that in football where something like that happened and another team responded kind of like that. But it's been really, really cool to watch.
That's how we roll. We seem gruff, because we have to handle that cold weather. But yeah, but Buffalo's good people. Good people.
Well, you're there, so that's how we gauge the whole city now.
That's right.
Next, we have my brother who's somewhat ignoring me today for reasons I do not understand because I'm a gem. That is Stephen Brodner. He is the owner of Pro Audio Georgia. How you doing, buddy?
Man, I'm out freaking standing. It's a beautiful day here in Georgia. I have finished my battle with COVID. Trying to
Georgia, you had COVID?
Yeah, girl.
And you lived. I thought everybody dies.
Everyone does.
I'm trying to get my lungs healed up, but other than that, everything is out freaking standing.
Should I have a mask on?
And just for the record, next time you think it's bad being a Bills fan waiting 25 years, just think of all those poor Georgia fans that have waited over 40.
I was going to bring that up, but I didn't want to rub salt in it.
Let me go back though, Georgia. We've been to the Super Bowl 4 times and we've lost.
You lost twice in a row to the Cowboys, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
hey, you know Bills.
Longer than 25 years.
You know what Bills stands for? Boy, I like losing Super Bowls.
Not anymore. Not
this
anymore.
year. Not this year. Let's go. All right, let's kick this off because, as Heather alluded to, we could probably talk about that all day long. But if you missed it somehow last week, was CES. So we're going to kick the show off with a little bit of CES coverage. As I said, if you missed it, it was actually kind of easy to do. It was not dominating the press cycles like it normally does. It wasn't
not even social media.
No, it wasn't really on social. It definitely wasn't on broadcast news very much. Normally, even our local TV station will cut in on the 6 o'clock news every day to talk about what was debuted at CES. And they didn't even mention it. Now, there was some other stuff going on around the world, so that might have been part of it.
Castle.
But there were a couple of things that happened at CES. mainly the things that you would expect. There were some new TVs that were brought up by Samsung and LG, and Sony had some stuff. Samsung brought a whole whack of new phones and some other goodies there. There was quite a few things, but it wasn't the predominant, headline grabbing typical expectation that CES is. Heather, I want to start with you in this, and rather than necessarily dig into what was announced, what wasn't announced, etc. This was obviously a virtual show. This was obviously a large change to what normally CES looks like. Now, we saw a fair amount of reports of people who normally would not really even follow CES because they had access. They attended some sessions. They listened to some keynotes. I saw a couple of the keynotes, and some of them were really, really good. Some of them were okay. My favorite part was the majority of them were 30 minutes, which
that was the greatest part. That should always be
30 minutes. But this was really, dare I say, just kind of a meh year. It was minor advancements, minor changes, things that are, ooh, cool. You're doing things with quantum that you've bemoaned for years, but now you're going to do it because it's cool. Is this year going to be just kind of a blip in CES, or is this possibly going to change the way CES addresses CES?
Excellent question. I think that virtual conferences just aren't there. You can't, it's just not the same. I haven't attended one that I've walked away from thinking, wow. So I think there's work to do. I think that this year is probably a blip, and I'm sure they're hoping that they can just round right back in 2022. But I think that the most important takeaway is that there will have to be some kind of hybrid, and we have to reinvent not just the product, but the way that conferences work, the way that we show off those products. A 30-minute presentation is good. It's good because it's shorter, and they could throw in videos in there, and they were pre-recorded, but it's not the same as standing up there and seeing it for the first time, having it work, or even better yet, having it not work. I don't think it's funny where CES is always that one show that everybody knows, right? When you say, hey, I'm in AV, they're like, oh, you know CES? So yeah, I think it will be back. I hope that it takes this time out to a bit reinvent.
I like that. One just before we move on to Stephen, one of the things that I was curious with was your take on, do you think it was a speed bump year because it was a speed bump year, or because the pandemic changed manufacturing and R&D for so many companies?
I think it pivoted too. So I think I think it's a speed bump year. And I think it's pandemic due, but I also think it changed things. So either people had to stop the R&D they were doing if they weren't set up to go hybrid or remote. And also it changed focus. So where we may have been coming up with technologies that are getting all these people in a room, all of a sudden now we need to bring something like a stupid flushable toilet hands-free. It's like, you don't need a hands-free flushable toilet because I should watch my Bleep hands.
What she's saying is wash your hands. And I feel like they've had automatic toilets for a while now.
I
missed something.
But they bring it back, right? So they can say, oh, look, the faucet that you don't need your hands for either.
Yeah. Interesting. Fun times. Stephen, let me come to you. You followed this a fair amount. You obviously saw the same TV announcements that I saw. You saw the projector that's got AirPlay. Like, again, the typical things. Was there something in there in the show that you saw that made you go, oh, that's really, really cool. I can't wait to get hands-on, see it, or I can't wait to see it fail?
Almost everything that was shown looked like garbage to me. I have.
Tell me how you feel.
Yeah. So here's the deal.
Would you stop sugarcoating? Gosh darn it.
So they had to come out with something, and I get it. R&D is short. People are out of work. You can't get parts. All these things. I get it. So what do? They come out with a bunch of half-developed garbage. You go to Wired magazine and look through their top 75 or 80 things they found at CES, and you will come to the same conclusion I did, which is last year there were a lot of very bored engineers. So here's two things that I saw that I thought were very cool. Neither one of them have anything to do with AV. Thing number one, LG, they got my heart, man. They heard my soul cry out. They have a new fridge that makes ice cubes, ice pellets, and ice spheres for us whiskey guys. Hell yeah! So let's just that was people cheering in the background. I know you couldn't hear that. So no. So we got whiskey spheres coming straight out of the LG ice maker. Me love you long time. Oh my God. Second thing that was kind of cool. I don't know if you guys caught this, but Samsung decided to get into the home robot race, and they made what looks virtually like battle tanks for your house. It is so cool. Look it up. It does not look like a little disc that your cat.
You're talking about the handy bot that washes the dishes and pours you a glass of wine?
Oh no, not that one. This is like a Roomba, but it looks like a tank.
It's
right.
the little tank one.
But the camera's on it.
Yeah, it's got a camera on it for security, and it like sweeps the floors. And the first thing I thought when I saw it was I could put a saw blade on that thing and go on TV and win some awards. It just looks like a battle tank. It really does. So those were two things that I saw that were really cool. A lot of wasted technology, a lot of wasted time. This pandemic, yeah, it's bad. I'm not downplaying the pandemic. I had COVID. I freaking get it. But the other side is it's not going to change our world. We've got a vaccine coming out. Everything in the world doesn't have to be pandemic based. Who was it? Not Turtle Beach, but
so you're not buying the Razer face mask with
Razer.
voice amplification?
I didn't want to give them any airtime.
That's what I was going to say. I was just going to bring it up. Razer made a face mask. Hey, get out of here with that garbage. Don't nobody need that garbage.
Now, when I go to pick up like takeaway food and I can't hear them behind the glass, I wish they were wearing a Razer voice amplifying face mask. Just saying.
See, I'm going to be honest with you, brother. And it's a different world down here in the Southeast.
Yeah, we're locked down. So that's why.
Yeah, and up north where Heather is, everything is locked down. And so down here, we have fewer cases than a lot of those places that are completely locked down and everything's open here. I walked into a restaurant today for lunch, went to my table, sat down, never once.
We don't want to talk about it. No. Don't bring that up.
So just so people understand, they're listening to the podcast, it is different. Our country is separated right now, and in the Southeast, people think it's crazy, but look at the numbers. We're not all locked down and crazy right now.
And things are so crazy that you're now a Democratic state.
Don't bring that. Don't start with that. All right, we're gonna transition.
This is where the podcast takes a technical break.
We've got technical difficulties. Error 404, Stephen not found. We're not going there, Heather. I'm having a good day. So anyway, hold
on. Talking about devices and tech that's just ridiculous. The one that caught my eye, which is the only one I'm gonna mention, was, and the headline's what killed me. Afraid of leaving your kid in a hot car.
Oh yeah.
There's a device for that. And you know where that device is? Right here.
Never once did I forget that my kid was in the back seat. My wife's new Highlander has a thing that when you turn the freaking car off, it says, check the back seat.
All right. So we've covered, don't buy that. Don't help that company at all. That's ridiculous. Be better, people. Hey, thanks for watching the first segment of this week's episode. To catch the entire show, please click the link below or visit avnation.tv. That's avnation.tv.